All right, welcome back to WMMA Now with your host Chuck Stevenson, coming at you with a fight review. So we're going to Newark, New Jersey for UFC 288. We're going to the main card in the Strawweight division. Fourth ranked Jessica Andrade coming in at 24-10, taking on sixth ranked Yan Xiaonan coming in at 16-3. Tell you what, I was really looking forward to this fight. I had picked Andrade to win, but I said, in my weekend preview ahead of this fight, I said, don't be surprised if it ends in a knockout. I just thought this is a striking fan's delight is what this fight was. So let's get into it. So first round starts, and Yan brushes off the glove touch, so wasn't even interested in it. Straight right lands for Yan, a couple of low kicks also, and a jab to Andrade's body. Andrade threw a low kick, got answered by a punch by Yan, and then both of them flurried a little bit before Yan circled out. Yan struck the body even more. Andrade came in swinging. She landed a couple, but she also ate a couple of Yan counters, and Yan smartly circled away again. Andrade lands a right. Yan lands a counter right. Big Yan right hand off of a feint. She threw a feint and then threw a right hand off of it. Really nice job. Andrade started circling with Yan, threw three of her looping jabs from the left hand, and then boom! Counter right punch from Yan, dropped Andrade. Yan pounced, landed a couple punches, but the referee intervened and saved Andrade. It was over that fast. Your winner, Yan Xiaonan, via KO due to a counter right punch. 2 minutes, 20 seconds of the first round. It was literally over that fast. I mean, what a punch. Let me say it again. What a punch. All it took for Yan Xiaonan to just completely drop Jessica Andrade was a single big right hand off of a counter. And it was beautiful. I mean, my jaw dropped as I sat in the bar watching it. It was insane. And leading up to it, Yan looked absolutely crisp in there. I mean, her striking was absolutely crisp, and I loved the variety that she was throwing. She varied all of her strikes, okay? She never threw the same type of strike more than once in a row. Never threw the same strike twice in a row. She also never targeted the same area twice in a row. So if she threw a jab to the body, her next would be a straight to the head, or she'd throw a low kick, or she'd throw a punch to the head, then throw a low kick, or she'd throw a punch to the body and then to the head, or a punch to the head then to the body, or she'd throw a kick then a punch to the head. She never threw the exact same strike twice in a row, and never targeted the same area of the body twice in a row. It just kept Andrade guessing. I mentioned my weekend preview earlier. I said in my preview that I thought that Yan would have a hard time making Andrade respect her power. And to an extent, I was right. Andrade did not respect Yan's power until it was too late. She basically disrespected Yan's power right up until she ate that big counter right hand. And she paid for it. So Yan did have a hard time making her respect her power because, it's Jessica Andrade. She's used to wading through punches. And she paid for it big time in this fight. Who was the last person that absolutely just floored and basically knocked out Andrade with one punch? I don't think anybody. So, yeah, Andrade did not respect Yan's power, and she paid for it. And honestly, like, it worked out for Yan. One note I have here is that while this is the best that Yan Xiaonan has looked in the UFC for the short amount of time that the fight lasted, can't help but bring up the fact that this is the worst that Jessica Andrade has looked in a long time. It's like she went in there, no plan, hands down by her waist, just throwing the looping punches and not, paying any mind to defense. I'll talk about that in a second. Yeah, Jessica Andrade just looked like she was just going to go in there and probably just expected to walk right through Yan. And it was the worst. I mean, she looked like crap in there. And that's not taken away from Yan, because Yan made her look like crap. But at the same time, Andrade just did not fight smart at all. And we'll get to that in a second. Is a title shot on the horizon for Yan? I mean, definitely. She is undeniable as a contender now. She just beat a former champ who was a title contender in two. Not only was she a champ in the at Strawweight, she was a title contender at 125. I mean, Jessica Andrade, when she's hot, she is one of the pound-for-pound best women in the UFC, because she can actually compete in any weight class. So it's hard to do. I mean, Yan has definitely made herself known as a title contender. She's always played second fiddle to Zhang Weili. Now she can't be denied right now. For things to work on, let's talk Yan. I have nothing. I mean, it was a flawless performance. She never let Andrade get too close. I think Andrade only landed like a couple of strikes on her. Like maybe 2-3 punches. She circled out well. She varied up her striking. She led Andrade right into the death punch, and she looked phenomenal. I mean, it was basically a flawless performance. For Andrade, though, let's talk about Andrade. Like I said, she has visibly regressed. Okay, what happened to the head movement from the second Namajunas fight? I mean, she was using good head movement in that fight. And she had shown a lot of growth as a fighter. She was throwing more low kicks. She wasn't just straight up swinging for the fences back then. Now it's like her last couple fights. I can forgive the Blanchfield fight that she took on short notice. This is a lot harder to forgive. She had all the time to train that she needed. This wasn't a short notice fight. She had a full camp. What's going on? I mean, she hasn't looked that sloppy in quite a long time. Did she just really not respect Yan as a fighter at all? I just don't get it at all. I just don't get it. Let's talk fights to make. For Andrade, she came into this fight at number 4. Now, I think she has to fight someone outside the top 10. And normally I'd say someone at like the lower end of the top 10, but I think she should have to fight someone outside the top 10 now, because to look like that in there, and again, I'm not taking away from Yan, but to look like that in there, I think she needs to prove she still belongs at the top. I don't think she's taking training seriously at this point. I think she needs to prove that she still belongs. She needs to get her head right. Fight someone between 11 to 15 and prove that you still belong. Show that you can take it seriously. For Yan, listen. How do you deny a title shot against Zhang at this point? You can say, well, Amanda Lemos was in line. Yeah, Amanda Lemos' finish of Marina Rodriguez was not as good as what Yan just did against Andrade. Okay? Not only that, Yan just beat Andrade, who was the last fighter to beat Lemos. Yan finished Andrade in less than a round after Andrade finished Lemos in less than a round. Also, she just beat Andrade. Who did Yan beat to win the title originally? Andrade. What did they both get? First round stoppages. But let's compare the stoppages real quick here. Yan needed multiple punches, knees, and elbows, including a few to the back of the head, to finish Andrade. Yan needed one punch. One punch. And that is how you help sell that storyline. In addition to the fact that it would be an all-China title fight, the first of its kind in the UFC, you also have the narrative that Yan just beat Andrade better than Yan did with one punch. That's another way you can help sell that fight. Anyway, those are my thoughts on it. Amazing performance for Yan Xiaonan, beating Jessica Andrade in the first round via knockout. Let me know your thoughts on the fight in the comments down below. If you liked the vid, please hit that like button. And while you're at it, go ahead and subscribe to WMMA Now, the best, most complete women's mixed martial arts dedicated platform on YouTube. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.